do Instagram lives. We're live.
Hey everyone.
Hey, how are you guys doing? For those of you who are watching for the first time, my name is Matt.
And I'm Anylu.
And I'm Lori. How's everyone doing tonight?
I think go ahead.
Oh, continue.
Go. I was going to say that maybe Lori could talk a little tiny backstory about herself.
Sure. Well, first off, I want to thank you both for having me. This is so exciting. I love the concept of a live podcast. It's really fun because I'm more of a visual person. I have a podcast too, but like there's nothing that beats like seeing faces and stuff. So I'm excited to be here. So I am Lori. My handle on Instagram is Lori's Boston Found. I live about 20 miles west of Boston, and I have been reselling since I guess formally since summer of 2018, and I was part-time for about a year, and then I went full-time in August of 2019. I also have a YouTube channel. I just celebrated 2 years on YouTube in January. Yeah, so it's just been, I didn't start formally doing this. Here, cheers. We all water. Oh, I may have to send for a cocktail. So I didn't really start this journey until I was 45. I was a stay-at-home mom for almost 20 years. I'm a teacher by trade. I got my master's in special education in psychology and taught for only 4 years before I got pregnant. And I was living in the West Coast. I was living in San Francisco when I got pregnant. And then we flew home to Massachusetts, and that was it. I was kind of home and just did like odd jobs here and there. The longest gig that I had was at American Girl on and off for 10 years, for a total of 8 years in various departments there. But I've always loved reselling. And so, yeah, here I am. I love it. I can't imagine doing anything else. And I pinch myself that this is what I do for a living.
Oh, well,
so amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
I loved American Girl as a child, actually. I still have my American Girl. I think I had the Samantha
She's
doll.
A classic. Yep.
And then I had the itty bitty baby.
Bitty baby. Yeah. Samantha was one of the original 3 in 1986. So it's usually Samantha, Molly, or Kirsten.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a great company. I loved working for them. I loved it.
At the time, there wasn't one that like really looked like me. That Samantha was the one that mostly. Now they have so many. I'm like, oh man.
Yes. They have so many now. But yeah, they didn't really come out with like that truly me or just like you line. It's been rebranded a couple times, but I think that was like early 2000s, late 90s that they started with that. But yeah, so that is still, I dabble a little. I've done a couple videos on YouTube on American Girl on YouTube, but yeah.
I'll have to look. I'm going to go back and find them.
Sure. I have a couple.
I feel like I've seen every one of your videos, Lori, whether it's watching it, like actually and paying attention, or putting it on while I work. I went onto your channel the other day and I was like, does she have a new video? And all of them had the red line in it already. Because I just trying to get you
so much.
But no, I just play stuff while I work, that's why long videos are good sometimes.
Yeah, well, I'm your girl for long videos, Matt.
We love that. So something we like to do on this, we're kind of still trying to find our thing, but something we started doing at the beginning of every episode is each sharing our favorite sale of the week.
Okay. All right.
And it could be, it's a highest dollar sale. It could be sentimentally, you like it, or, that kind of thing. So everyone has their poison.
That's a great question. And I have one that really sticks out to me because over the weekend, I had my second sale ever on Mercari. And I was really excited about it. And it wasn't just because it was a sale. My first sale I was really excited about because I'm just diving into Mercari right now. But it was an item that I had sent. I got this dress from B&G Trading in like an affiliate box. They sent me like 10 free items. And then I also won a 25-piece box from Denali, El Ducho Thrift. So I got both of them. They were kind of like within 2 weeks. So I had all these B&G things. And I got this Tommy Bahama linen dress, floral print, halter, really pretty, but really wrinkly, halters. It wasn't going to look good on a hanger. So I sent it to ThreadUp, new with tag, $145. They sent it, they had it for 3 months, and then they sent it back to me. They rejected it. New with tags. So I was kind of annoyed, and I'm like, now I really have to take pictures of this thing. And so I listed it over the weekend for $85 and it sold for $70. I got a $70. I sent out an offer maybe on Mercari. I don't even know how it happened, but $70 second sale on Mercari on a reject that they didn't want. So that was great because it kind of just fell back into my lap. I had kind of written it off.
And especially if you're kind of annoyed about it, you're like, oh man, and then it sold. So
super annoyed. Like I really didn't want to see it again.
Yeah.
I don't like photographing white, you know?
Yeah, and that's also why we send things to ThreadUp, or I think most of us send things to ThreadUp because we're like, we don't want to deal with it, right? You're like,
yeah. And then they don't want to deal with it either.
With white and black items, I like don't want to deal with sometimes because the color and stuff, it's just like overexposed. It's just like a thing. And red too.
Don't like red. Red and maroon. Like I will leave things behind at the thrift store if it's not the right color. Periwinkle blue is a pain too. But now like with the photo room app, you can get rid of that yellow background. So that's pretty awesome. But for the longest time,
you and Hope. So thank you for that. Changed life.
That was all Hope. She came to visit me and she was like messing around at my dining room table. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And she showed me this app. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. It was like a moment. Yeah, I learned a lot from Hope.
So, Anylu, what is your favorite sale of the week?
My favorite sale, well, I've had a pretty slow week, but I think I was the most excited. This is really random, but I had a Talbot's like jogging that I got a while back, and it was just one of those, just like Lori says, her whole like Bye Felicia sale.
Yes.
It got so many views and likes, but it just wouldn't sell. And I kept sending like 20%, then I went to 30%, and then I relisted it, and then I just finally sold. And I'm like, finally, like, bye.
Yeah. No, so, I get that.
I like all of those mall brands, but they just don't. I just need to learn to like stop picking it up.
It's tough though, because a lot of people know those brands, some people make their whole business out of mall brands. I don't know. I struggle with it. Like I have different criteria for when I'm at different places, like bins. Yes. Savers for $8. No, it just really all depends.
I've never been to Savers.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
But do you guys have like Unique or Value Village? Because I think it's all the same company.
Oh my God, we have something called Value Center, and actually Brad and John, the Posh Kings, told me about it, and seriously, it changed my life. Like, Goodwill is nothing compared. Like, I went maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I found like 5 Tumi pieces. I found like all this crazy stuff. Yeah, and I was like, I have to go back. I haven't been back since because it's like a field trip for the day, But
wow.
Yeah,
how
when you're in LA, I have no excuse. It's probably like 15 minutes.
Oh, I would live there.
Yeah. No, but if you're ever in LA, I'll bring you there. It's literally amazing. But besides that, we have like Crossroads and then Goodwill, and then nothing like insane, but like the basics.
But you do have Savers though, right?
Well, yeah, it's 30 miles away. I want to make a video and like a vlog of a day going to Savers, but I know Anylu is going to come visit next month sometime, so I was kind of thinking I should wait for her to go.
Oh, that will be so much fun. How far are you guys distance-wise?
We're like 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
And we met on Instagram, and now we're like, siblings.
I love it. You guys have such great chemistry. This is such a great partnership.
Also, ignore the yellow lighting because I'm in my parents' house because my internet's so bad, and I'm moving into my own apartment on Saturday. So I'll have like my setup. So awesome. I have to say that as a disclaimer.
We'll forgive the yellow lighting today. This is my husband's like work setup in our bedroom, and he's got like all the bells and whistles now. Although my computer keeps going dark on me.
Yeah.
What was your favorite sale?
Okay, she's always the one to get me back on track. My favorite sale, I've never found this brand before. I've seen Nicole State in her videos find this brand so much, John Fluvog, and I know it's a great brand. And I've never found it up until, where did I find it? I went to Crossroads. Everything I get at the Crossroads in Studio City, California sells like for a high amount. I bought them for $30. They were like these gorgeous suede magenta, like Oxford tie shoes. And they had like a rubber bottom that was turquoise. They were crazy.
That's so unique.
And for $130, and 3 days later on Poshmark, they sold for full asking price. So,
wow. That is a great sale. I love selling Fluvog. The crazier, the better.
Oh, yeah. And especially, I always say this, the uglier, the better. Because everything ugly sells. It's crazy. But yeah.
I think I've sold like 3 pairs of Fluvog shoes, and I have 1 pair that just looks like a basic ankle boot in black, and I've had it for like 7 months. Because it's just not different enough. I think it's just too basic. I think I just have to adjust my price.
Also, before we get into the questions, I have a burning question. How do you guys feel? This brand has been haunting me. I can't get rid of it. I don't pick it up anymore. Vince Camuto. I can never move it.
Do I pick it up? What's your question? What is it?
Like, how does it do for you? Do you pick it up? Does it sell? Like,
so the last Vince Camuto piece that I picked up, it was weird because I bought it at Savers and it was like a $6 sweater and I would never, but it was an extra large and it was like this really pretty soft blue, almost like an ombre eyelash sweater. And it like, just when I felt it in my hands, I was like, this is beautiful. Like I would have bought it regardless of the brand. And it sold really fast for me. I had a week where I sold like 3 eyelash sweaters and now they've died. I thought it was like the end all be all.
I'm still learning the.
So they're well, like they almost feel like a rug. They're super like silky soft, but they're like almost thick. Like, I don't know.
I think I know what we're talking about.
Yeah, they're not like physical eyelashes. It's just like smooshy, and super soft. And yeah, that was the last Vince Camuto thing. Yeah, it is hard. And even Vince, I struggle with these days. Vince and Theory.
I do too. Like I have a few great Vince pieces that are like expensive, and I've had to lower the price like 50%, and they're still not selling. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
One of my best friends just gave me a pair of Vince Camuto pants, black, new with tag, that she bought at Nordstrom Rack and never wore. So she just gave them to me. So I just listed those this week. So stay tuned. I'll keep you posted.
Oh my God, you let me know because that's like one of the burning like brands that I'm like, I wonder how people do it, this brand, because we can't do it.
You know, and I just feel like sometimes it's a personal thing. Certain people have insane luck with a brand and then I can't sell it to save my life and vice versa. So it's really interesting. Like you probably do just attract certain clientele and those people are going to buy certain brands from you and then other things will just sit.
Madewell is that brand for me. Everyone sells it and I can't sell it. Not sure why.
Yeah, Madewell is one of my answers to one of your questions later.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's answer the questions then. So if you guys, the audience out there, stay tuned if you want to learn more about Lori and her take on being a full-time reseller. Cool. Let's get into it.
Wait a second. Can I stop you? I don't see like where people are in the chat. This is where my...
Oh, like that's what Lou said too. And also just to say, if you guys do have any questions for Lori, you can comment them, and at the end of the episode, we'll kind of go over them, and she can answer them for you guys.
So as long as you see stuff, I'm going to text my son to tell him to get my dog to stop barking. Can you hear him or no?
So a little bit. It's all good though.
All right, let me get him. Sorry. All right, let's go with the questions.
Okay, perfect. So the first one. I'm going to put it up on the screen. So what is one thing you wish that you knew when you started reselling that you know now?
I wish I knew the importance of a good inventory system because for real, and that was the subject of one of my video tonight. I've just struggled with it from the beginning because I never really had a good system in place. And the more your business grows and the more your inventory grows, it's wasted time. So when time becomes really precious, when you're like listing and editing and just doing all the things we try to get done in a day, if the inventory system is off, it's tricky. I'm going to close my door. Hold up.
Oh, you're totally fine.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Temporary fix. Okay. So sorry. Yeah. Do you guys have a good inventory system? Mine is awful.
I have the. Oh, hey, Anylu's boyfriend. How are you?
Hey.
Oh, she can hear
something. Oh.
She just messaged. Yeah.
I can't
hear. So weird. StreamYard, I swear, is a mystery. Always.
Do you see the mute button?
I
wonder if she has it muted. Hold up.
Oh, her mic isn't connected. That's what it said when I tried to unmute her.
Oh, no.
Okay, let me text her. I swear, as a reseller, there's problems that come up here and there, and you just got to deal with it as they come.
That's right. Especially with these lives.
Exactly.
We lost her.
Okay, well, I think she's gonna fix it, but for now, we can probably continue with the questions.
Sure thing. One of the other things with what I wish I knew, I really do believe in trusting your gut. And if you really believe in a piece and you're willing to purchase it and list it and share it, I don't think you should necessarily listen to other people who tell you it's not going to work, because just as we just discussed, certain brands work for certain people. And I think when you're passionate about something, it shows in some form. I mean, unless it's just super ratchet, no one's ever going to buy it. But, but I mean, generally, I think you should trust your gut.
Yeah, definitely. Unless it's like wrecked and there's moth holes in it, but you still love it. I don't think it's the smartest purchase.
Right. Maybe a good personal purchase just for you.
Yeah, definitely.
She looks stressed.
I know. I feel so bad. It says her mic's not connected.
It's so hard. I did a live, Nick from NCI Resale.
Yeah.
I did a live with him that it was like, I don't know why I was nervous about it. I was really excited because it was on sustainable fashion and he's really good
I love that.
in that area. And I just wanted to learn so much from him. And I was all set up here, like I prepped for it. And I lost my connection, like in the middle of it. And he was saying, "Oh, I'm so worried I have a bad connection, just in case. I'm like, "Oh, no worries." And mine like went. So it happened when we're live.
Oh no, for sure. The last two, she'll figure it out. She said she's going to restart it.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely the past 2 weeks we tried to do this. It was my fault, my connection. So now I'm at my parents' house to make sure for the Lori episode.
I'm honored.
Okay, so we can move on. This is actually a question that Anylu had. Good thing this is pre-recorded. Like this will be recorded after, so she can watch it too at this time. So how did your family adjust to you reselling, and were they like supportive at first?
I think it didn't start out as crazy as it is now for me. And everybody was really supportive. Yes. I was kind of at the stage of my life where my kids didn't need me as much. And my daughter danced for 14 years. And I was like the dance mom who worked at the studio, who went to all the competitions. And I think I was a little much for my daughter when she got to a certain age. And then literally she decided to quit dance. And it was like way harder on me than it was on her. And I found myself lost because that was like my family, my dance family. Like that was my social life. Yeah. And so I had to pivot at some point. We have a room in the basement that was a dance studio. And I would walk down. It just like made me so sad. It was just like a little room in the basement that we did over with like ballet bars and mirrors. And the room just like depressed me. And then when I thought of reselling, I was doing it upstairs, and then it got like 1 bin and went to 5 bins. And then my husband was like, "Why don't you take this downstairs?" And so it was kind of a huge moment for me to go in there and like remove the ballet bars and just kind of say goodbye to that part of my life as a mother and start this journey. And so I think everybody was really happy because I was finally moving on from that. And yeah, they've been super supportive. So I think it's hard on my daughter. Instagram is hard for my daughter. Like everybody, like if I post something, people like slide up in their stories or they'll comment on things. And I don't know, like TikTok, my daughter really doesn't want me on TikTok. Like I think some of this, well, one of the things that they said is that resellers get like reamed on TikTok. I'm like,
yeah, the whole moral thing. It's like people think.
Yeah. So I think they're trying to protect me. But generally, I think they have been super supportive. Yeah. Awesome. And my husband has been amazing. So I think they know how much I love it. So they're great. Yeah. I think the one complaint from them, which is 100% valid, is I have no balance. I mean, I think I was like a full-time mom for so long. I never had like a career outside of teaching. And then I never really thought I was a super motivated person. I really didn't. I'm pretty content. I'm pretty chill. My husband has always like supported our family. I was content being a stay-at-home mom. And in this, I can't get enough of. So it's weird for me to have something that I just can't turn off. And I think that's what they struggle with the most.
Yeah. And it's like throwing yourself into the thing you love, which is both healthy and unhealthy, I feel like. And when you find a balance, then it'll be, but I still feel like I'll never be the balanced person, and I'm okay with it at this point. I've accepted it.
I mean, if it suits your personality, well, I feel like if, you're single or those things, like for me, it's like, oh my God, I really need to go to bed. Oh my God, I have to make dinner for my children. Like there are certain things that it's just, and I think with reselling, you can be 24/7. You can take offers at midnight. I can edit a video at 2 a.m. And so it never stops unless you make time for it. So it's hard. I'm working on that.
Yeah, and I think that's something I love about reselling is that you do the work once to list it. It's not so much on Poshmark because you have to share, but I feel like on eBay, stuff turns into disposable income because you really work once for the listing and you just sit there and you're sleeping and you can make $100. So that's the mindset of reselling that just like addicts me to listing things,
Do you like check your phone like first thing in the morning to see if, any sales or offers? It's like an adrenaline rush the moment I open my eyes.
And the funny thing is, even if you don't, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like writing down every single thing with the cost of goods for everything. And then I've been missing some stuff and everything. But even if I bought something a year ago, I'll remember how much I bought it for. And then when it sells, I'll be like, oh, $50 profit.
It's so true. You remember, like I was at Goodwill in the third rack over from the right, and I found this shirt. Like it's like ingrained in your brain. And then other things for me are just gone forever. I don't ever remember seeing them.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a question that I came up with. Is like, I don't really know how to decide because I've only been full-time reselling for this year, not even a full year. I started reselling 5 years ago on Poshmark, but like really on and off, like post an item here and there. But I know when you are like an experienced reseller, you know the quarters and which quarters are good for you and comparing it to last year. So sorry, that was a long intro. So my question is, what is your favorite quarter as a reseller and why?
I loved this question, Matt. I've never gotten this question before.
Really?
That's good. Well, I feel like the common answer is Q4. Everybody is like Q4, because it's the holidays and such. Yeah. But I had 2 years in a row that told me otherwise, that Q4 was not my quarter. I would say that Q3 is my quarter because I get super excited about fall fashion and like back to school, back to structure. And I feel like as fall is coming around the bend, that I sell a ton of like ankle boots and denim and jackets and sweaters and all. And I feel like the return on investment on those pieces are really good. And I feel like I lack the structure in the summer. And I'm also not super excited thrifting items for summer. Like at Savers, for example, you just walk in one day and all of the sweaters are gone. They are just gone and they've been replaced with tank tops and bathing suits. And granted, like you want to buy for the season, but I just like to look through sweaters and they are just not in the store. And I miss that. So I think when fall rolls around, I guess it's like the tail end of Q3, I guess, that I like. Q4, like November is usually a good month for me. Oh, you're back. Are you good?
So great. Oh yeah, you're back. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what just happened, but I had to like switch laptops and everything. Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh my gosh, I get it. Also, are comments coming through on yours? Because I don't see comments being typed on here.
I'm actually looking over on YouTube to see. I see one comment from Miriam. And
yeah, I see those.
But I can't see them over on StreamYard.
Yeah, bizarre.
But I'm not. That was loud. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That was me on YouTube, delayed. Yeah, so I like Q3. Q4, November I like. December I struggle with because with college age students, there's just a lot of transitioning. There's like picking kids up from school. There's Christmas shopping. There's hosting. We have a big family. We do the holidays very extra in my family. So I definitely have to unplug a little bit for that. Yeah, so I think I like Q3.
I love that. Okay. And then this next question I'll let Anylu ask you.
Oh, well, this was actually a question that I had was, how much time do you dedicate to researching trends and do you think it's necessary?
That was a good question too. I don't spend a ton of time researching trends and I don't know if that's to my detriment. I'm not sure. My podcast partner and I, Daniela, we do like a trend forecast episode a couple times a year. I think we do spring, summer, and then fall, winter, and we watch all the runway shows and we watch fashion bloggers and we try to like get up to speed. I do think the trends are important and I'm mixed. I guess I'm mixed. I feel like a lot of the trends, when we do our trend report, let me back up. I always try to see how I can relate it to things that we're likely to find in the thrift store. and certain trends are more conducive than others to that. I can't even think of an example this year for the spring trend report. I think they're helpful, but I think if you chase trends a lot and don't pay attention to what's actually selling for you, you might struggle a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just my age. I look to my kids sometimes for like younger trends. I don't know. I definitely pay attention. It's on my radar, but I'm not super obsessed with it.
So for me, I feel like trends and seasons are a thing where a lot of people have this thing in their head, like it's winter, you can't buy a tank top. I feel a way about it that if I have something that I'm like, I should wait to list this for summer, it's hot somewhere, you know? So I just, my mindset is list everything. If I like sweaters, shop for sweaters.
Yeah.
But of course, also be like aware,
I mean, I'm a huge believer in just sourcing what you love, but I'm not a super analytical person. And I think that burns me sometimes. Like I probably should pay closer attention to my numbers. Like, yes, you like to source sweaters, but how many sweaters did you actually sell last month? Like I should be better about that sort of thing.
It's balance.
For me as well, I do believe that trends, like thrift, depends where you're sourcing, but I feel like everything is kind of behind the trends, right? Because by the time people buy it, then they donate it. Then, I mean, sometimes you can get lucky, but at the same time, you're a little bit behind always.
Yes.
So I think that by the time that I find whatever I search on the trend, I kind of forgot about the trend. And then I'm like, oh, I found it months later. So it's kind of hard to keep up.
I completely agree. And I feel like some of the people in our world who talk so much about trends, or I don't know, I think a lot of people who are really into trends are more into retail arbitrage, and they're wholesale people, and they're doing it's like a completely different business model. And so sometimes I wish there was more clarification for newbies out there who are watching and they think they have to buy Reformation in order to have a successful business. And I feel like you can chase your tail a lot if you get caught up in it all. But I also think it's valuable. And some of the trends, like vintage trends, are great for us, right? Because some of those things we can scoop up at the thrift stores very easily. Like oversized blazers are big right now. So that's a great thing to, have in your closet.
And regardless of brand, for those at least.
Right. That's a thing too that I struggle with. I feel like my kids' generation are way less concerned with brands than style, but then it's a little bit of a different price point. So if I have like Urban Outfitters and that style stuff in my closet, it doesn't always sell for a lot. So I don't know if it's really worth it for me, where, I may sell a mature brand or like a Smart Wool or something like that. That's like guaranteed money, even though it's not super trendy. But my sell-through rate is so much better with that stuff.
Definitely.
I think it's a tough one. Yeah, it's a little bit of a learning curve too. Like, what type of reseller do you want to be? Are you going to just be picking up things that are on trend, or are you going to kind of do everything? Because I feel like some people have like the whole curated closet as well. But I think that is, and I think also there should be a little bit, like you said, a little bit more clarification for people that are starting, because when I started, I know that I was a little overwhelmed with like the greatest pieces that everybody had. And I didn't really realize till later that those were things that come from like stores, like retail arbitrage, right? I'm like, oh, okay, these aren't things that you're finding like
in the thrift. Yeah,
we're
new with
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a big pet peeve of mine. It really is. It is. Well, because it's great. I mean, and I love all the different models out there, but I think sometimes it can feel it's a little confusing.
Yeah,
definitely. So this is a huge question that I struggle with, being motivated as a person, because I don't think I was born a motivated person. I was a taught motivated person. But what do you do to stay motivated as a reseller? Because I know that being a reseller, especially during COVID, I mean, you're already staying home working. But during COVID, especially, you can get lonely, you can like not be motivated. So what do you do to stay motivated?
I feel like my YouTube channel keeps me motivated because I'm on a schedule with that. And I feel like there's some level of accountability, whether it's if I went shopping to do a haul, or it keeps me on top of my numbers because I know people are going to be wanting a what sold video. I feel like my YouTube channel does keep me pretty accountable. And I am actually very motivated by, I was at one point more motivated than I am now because I feel like I'm kind of in my lane right now. But when I was new at stuff, there were just certain resellers who I watched every day. Like I would just press refresh and wait for Savannah Street Savvy to have a new haul from the Goodwill outlets because I just loved learning brands from Savannah. And then I loved, Empty Hanger was the person who taught me all about, the structure of things and so things about inventory. And she had the curated closet and like she had really good systems in place. So there were definitely people who I looked to who really did motivate me. There are weird things. Like I like to set up USPS postage pickup, because that motivates me in the morning. Because if I know my mail person is coming like at 11 a.m., like I get up and I rally. Otherwise I won't. Like I'm like you, Matt. Like I am not a naturally like structured, super motivated person. I mean, with this, I kind of am, but it is, I don't know. I actually love it. So I kind of try to stay in it. Social media is one of those double-edged swords. Like I get motivated a lot by things that I may see on social media. And then other times it's just kind of a time suck and a little bit of like background noise. So it's important for me to like shut it down. I'm finding that with Clubhouse right now. I don't know. Are you guys on Clubhouse?
I'm on it, but I haven't really like got on to fully listen to a show. Maybe because I'm a visual person and I enjoy watching things. I'm not sure.
Yes, I am with you. Like I just prefer, I did a week of Clubhouse like every single day. And I felt like I had like Clubhouse hangover. And some of the information is great. You get these crazy nuggets. You just don't know when they're coming. You don't know who's going to go up on stage and shed some light on a topic that you're like, oh my goodness. Like I just started selling for Amazon. I just got verified to sell on Amazon, which is this massive beast. I have no clue what I'm doing. Like no idea.
We'll have to have a whole other conversation about that. I'm so curious.
Yeah, I really don't have anything to report. I just got verified. I'm not even ungated with things. Like I'm so clueless, but Clubhouse is one of the places that I get some information on Amazon, but I am a visual learner as well. So I think for me, nothing beats like just turning on YouTube and like watching stuff. Like I love it.
Yeah.
Did I really answer that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just not motivated.
Yeah. Anylu's amazing question is up next.
What is a brand you shouldn't pick up, but you still do?
That's a tough question for me because I don't typically rule out brands. Like I don't swear off brands because I know the second I do, I'm going to find a great piece. But we mentioned Madewell earlier, and I've become more selective on Madewell, but I'm still a sucker for Madewell. I can say no to it occasionally, but I will always, generally pick up the denim. I'm trying to stay away from like really basic stuff. But I really like Madewell. I like their classic look. American Eagle, I'm trying to stay away from a little bit more, but sometimes I'm a sucker for that too.
I've never sold American Eagle jeans. I think I'm shooting myself in the foot.
Really? Have you listed them or you just never sold? Nobody buys them, you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I've been one of those people that started out reselling and I was like, oh, mall brands. I'm not going to pick that up. But then you can't just grow your whole business model on $300 sales, because that's not realistic. So I've started to realize that and started to, try and change that. But I'll for sure have to try it. The problem with me is that there's so many specific things like this American Eagle was made in 2018, so it's better. Like, I don't know all of that, They have the date tag on their stuff, so that helps me. And 2017, now 2018 is one of my cutoffs. Like I won't get it if it's like an old label unless it's really special.
Yeah, and I think for me, Madewell, it took me so long to find it that now when I find it, I still get that excited about it, even though I know it's not that popular anymore. And that's kind of what I was saying about being behind the trend is that I'm like, I'm finally finding it, so I'm gonna pick it up because I don't care. Like I shouldn't, but I think my brand is definitely White House Black Market. Mm-hmm. I love their pieces. Like everything about them, I just really like their pieces, but I know they're going to sit. I'm not saying they're not going to sell, but they won't sit. So a lot of times I'm like, I know I shouldn't pick this up because it's going to sit, but I'm going to do it anyways because I just love their pieces.
And, if you have to share that in your closet and you don't mind looking at it and eventually it will sell, you'll find your buyer, then I think that's okay. If there's something, you have a soft spot for,
Yeah.
It just becomes like when you get to that, like right now I'm going through my inventory and there are just some pieces that I just need to let go. I have the Seller Insight app, and I had a piece that I think my oldest piece is 904 days. 900.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? Like, cut the cord, say goodbye. Like, it's not going to
sell. It was in there, right?
Whoa, you can't cut the cord. You've shared it for so long. Like, you need to even get $1 out of it. Like,
that's true. I mean, think of all the times I've clicked that button for that piece. But that is one of the things that as I'm moving into new bins and moving over my inventory, I'm like taking a hard look. I've said to myself, pull 50 items. I have 1,300 items that are live on Poshmark. I said, pull 50. Whether I'm sending them to the Real, whether I'm donating them, or whether I just want to consign them, just free up 50 spots in your inventory. That shouldn't be hard to do.
Right.
But it will be for me. Because I have hoarder tendencies.
I think that's like a bottom. I think that maybe like if people ask like what makes a reseller, I think every reseller has like a little bit of that hoarding like tendency,
Well, because we see value in things that other people don't, and so, yeah, I mean, I have seen some really cut and dry resellers and I just don't relate at all. It's just not me.
Yeah, it's like, this is beautiful. Like, you almost don't even look at the brand. You're like, this can't go to waste. Like, this is such a beautiful piece. I'm going to grab it anyways. And, so.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Or sometimes it takes 900 days, but.
I'm a little bit of a brand snob, but not on purpose, just because it's like beat into my head that, oh, this brand will sell, this brand won't. But again, for style, I've been trying to be more lenient on if it's an incredible piece. I found this weird silk kimono that was really pretty and had no tag, no brand. And it was sold for $40. So I was like, that gave me a little wake up call.
I love to sell kimonos. So what has bashed it into, like, what has made you so brainwashed with brands? Is it just like your own style, like what you like, or is it what you've heard? Or
it's my mom, honestly, because my mom worked in fashion when I was growing up. So she had her own sunglass line, Pamela Design. She sold to Bloomingdale. She was a supplier for like Macy's, all that crazy stuff. So it was really cool. But that's when my parents met. They were in the optical industry. And I don't know if you remember the brand SunCloud.
I don't think I have.
It's like an optical lens. It's like the sporty optical lens that people used to wear when they ski and like surf and all that kind of stuff. My grandpa created that line. So that's how I got, I know, it was crazy. That's how I kind of got into fashion and everything through my mom. So, and of course, she's like
brought up with fashion. Like, you knew what brands were at a young age, and it was kind of funny. Okay,
I got my first in like middle school, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, he's wearing mech jeans!" Like,
you're like, "What's that?"
Right? Like,
that is awesome. That's really interesting. I love that. Yeah.
Also, I think you have a high influence in the sense that you live in LA. And, the things that you can find, like some of the things that he sent, like Matt sends me, I'm like, I will literally never find that at a thrift store. How did you just find that?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's why Anylu was texting me the other day. She was like, "Hey Matt, so I'm coming to visit in March. Like, I'm just letting you know, if you do find anything amazing with me, you're giving it to me because I don't find stuff." And I said, "You know what? Unless it's Chanel, it's yours."
Right? Exactly. All right. Yeah. So we get Louis Vuitton and Gucci. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I've never found a brand like that unless it was fake.
Right. Yeah, I do think that has a huge part. That has a lot to do with what we can source. I go thrifting at the bins in New Hampshire, and they closed the ones in Boston. I guess somebody just DM'd me, and I guess there was like a really bad fight, violence, police involved prior to COVID. And it doesn't surprise me at all. Like, people in Boston have an edge, and this Goodwill is in a tough part of town, and it doesn't surprise me. And then COVID happened. And now they haven't reopened. So Maine has opened, Connecticut bins, New Hampshire bins, and no Boston. And they had the best clothes in Boston. Like, it was such a gold mine. And they also had a boutique section that they completely overpriced stuff. So a lot of the boutique stuff ended up at the bins. because they weren't selling at the regular store. And I had just found my rhythm because I used to go to New Hampshire all the time. And then I had just gotten my rhythm at the Boston bins, and then they closed. And rumor is that they're not reopening. And I'm so sad because the quality of stuff that I would find in Boston was just amazing compared to like New Hampshire is like, you get a lot of LL Bean and outdoor stuff, Merrell's, but like not fashion. Sometimes you do, but.
Yeah, like I went to the Panorama City bins for the first time. I've only been to the Atwater bins, one bins location ever in my life up until like last month. And that was always a chill one. So I went to the Panorama City ones which wasn't in like the best part of town, like you said. I went there and they brought in a new bin and people started like running and diving and I was terrified for my life. I was like, oh my God, is it really worth it? Like,
is it really worth it? I don't know. I've been asking.
Sometimes I'll be that person to be like, no, I will find the other shoe. Like,
you walk around hours. You're like,
yeah.
days. I'm not leaving till I find it.
But the funny thing for me is every time that happens and it's like a whole thing and I spend an hour trying to find it, it doesn't sell for 2 years. But when it just pops up, they're both there. They're like, do you want this? It sells the next day. So
I have to thing with things that I get at the bins. Like I think it was like a Calvin Klein skirt that I don't really care about, that I wouldn't pick up anywhere else. And it was a denim skirt and it sold in a day for like $25. Or like I have all these really fast flips with bins things because I just don't care. And in a sense, I kind of want to flip them fast because like my main brands that I love. And I'm just like, well, I'm going to get it because it was $1 and I'm going to list it. And I don't care what the profit is. And they always sell pretty quickly. So the bins kind of give me some perspective sometimes because what you think is going to sell, some of the brands that do sell surprise me from the bins.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm trying to get more mindset that I'm not in the storage business. I'm in the fast flip business. So if I have to take a lower amount for a bins item than I wanted to, I'm totally doing it.
Right.
Yeah. I think sometimes I forget that I got something at the bins and I'm like, oh, wait, my cost of goods was so low. Like, why am I not just let's move it? But I know in the Bay Area in California, I went to a bins that was in the Bay Area and that's where there's, most of the money in California. And so, or in Northern California. And so there's a lot of good pieces, but people are crazy. Like I never went back because this girl like threw a shirt in my face. And I was just like grossed out because, the bins are dirty, which actually, Lori, the bins that you've posted are clean. Like
people have commented that.
Yeah, my bins are dirty. Like everything is dirty though. The whole building is so dirty. And so when she threw it at my face, I was like, I'm not going back.
Yeah, and honestly, that sounds like a mild story compared to other bin stories. Like I know Hope said, I think I watched one of Hope's videos and she found like a gun in the bin or something.
Yeah. Did you watch, somebody was talking about, did you watch Jack and Ryan's Halloween bins video?
Yeah, but I don't really remember. It was long, so I don't remember everything. But...
Yeah, I think Hope shared her gun. Did Hope share her gun story there?
Oh, maybe that's where I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Also,
and I've been...
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say the bins in Manhattan are crazy too. In Queen City. Yeah, they're nuts.
Anything in New York is crazy. But that's another thing about being in the right location. I've seen Jack and Ryan's videos. I don't know them super well, but I've seen their videos and they're like in Minnesota, right? They find like Chanel, Givenchy.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Like, every time they go though, every time.
They're crazy. I don't know how they find their stuff. Hope and I were talking about flying out to Minnesota, like of all places in the country. Just like
honestly, we'll meet for
good.
And we'll thrift.
Yeah, you want to meet up?
Honestly, though, also the people that I've met that say they're from Minnesota are like the nicest people.
So nice.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on? And you find the best things. Like, I want to visit Minnesota.
Maybe that's why I connect with people online because everybody in my area is not the nicest.
You got to find the nice people from the Midwest.
Oh, for sure. There's always exceptions, though, for the California people that are nice. And, I'm a mix, I feel like. My mom is from LA and my dad's from Tennessee. So there's definitely a good thing. Yeah.
That is. I have a friend who I think she lives in Michigan. And like you said, Anylu, she said, the second I find a brand at my thrift stores, I know that it's like on its way out. She's like I never found Lululemon for like 5 years. And it was my one big goal was to find it. And then, I found a piece and now it's not that big of a deal, whatever it is. She's like, I know the second it shows up at my thrift stores, it's done.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So, she does a lot of outdoorsy stuff.
It's like the last stop on the train. I feel like, I don't know if you saw my story, but I posted the other day, burning question, guys, who has found Rothy's? Because I never have. And Nick from NTI Resell responded to my story, and he goes, 13 times. And I was like, I hate you.
13 times.
I know. I've never found them one time. And my luck, if I did find them, they'd be a kid's pair.
Yeah. I found a really good pair at the bins that sold for $200. They were like,
I saw. Didn't you say like somebody messaged you saying I had the same pair and they like burned in a fire or something? Like,
yes, yep, that was that. And there was some nice man at the bins who did not even speak English, and he knew I was looking for that, and it was like in a bin on the other side, 2 bins down, and it was post-COVID, and we weren't supposed to be like sharing bins. And he was in my shoe bin, but he was like just sourcing totally like men's leather shoes and like beat up Nike. Yeah. I just wasn't. I think he was sending them back to his family, but nothing that I was looking for. And there was these Rothy's were like white with like pink and blue stripes. Like he was not interested, and he was like this little angel. He just walked back and he like handed it to me. It was great. And then I found a pair of Celestial ones, Aquarius. They had this limited edition. I had no idea until I got home and researched it, but I found it at Savers. Aquarius. They had a whole line with horoscope. What am I trying to say? Cancer.
The horoscopes.
Yeah. And I found Aquarius. That was a good flip too. The other Rothy's that I buy on Poshmark, and I just refresh and look for Rothy's, and I think I've flipped like 3 pairs right off of Poshmark.
Like you the ones with the bad pictures, right? And you just
exactly.
Also,
I feel like with my luck, the Rothy's I'm going to find are going to be fake, but I'm going to be so excited that I'm not going to like notice. And then I'm going to come home and I'm going to be like, oh, these are fake. Yeah.
I found something that looks like Rothy's and the soles were out. So I was like, nope. I don't even know if
I think they have a tag inside that you might, because I think you can order new soles for those.
Yeah. I don't know.
You'll find them.
So the next question is something that I think about constantly. Since I have a YouTube channel as well and I'm trying to grow that. It is, what are your thoughts on sharing cost of goods? Do you think someone can still grow a successful audience, especially on YouTube, without doing so? Because I personally don't share mine because I've always just been in my head like that mindset. And then recently I'm like, the people that are watching my videos are mostly resellers. And the thing that woke me up to that is the other day, an Instagram follower, knowing that I bought it for $1, bought something for $100. So I'm like, does it really matter,
That was like one of my concerns. I'm kind of an open book, so I'm a sharer because I feel like it adds to the story, and I feel like a lot of YouTube is storytelling, like my Rothy's, like that whole story of finding one, and I was at Rothy's, and then this gentleman was sharing a bin, and he walked it over to me, like it's at the bin, so everybody knows they were like $1, But I did get some hate on that, where someone said, because I had listed those for $300 or something, like $250 or something, because the prices were outrageous. And someone's like, "Oh, you're a real hero. You sold it to someone for $200 who was in a house fire, and you paid $1. Like, you should be so proud of yourself." I'm like, "Oh, you kind of have a point. You kind of have a point."
People have that mindset. So many.
But
I mean, the market dictates the price. So I feel like I could mark them for $500, and if they're only worth 20, they're only worth 20. You know what I mean? Like, people like, you're price gouging or whatever, but people are only going to pay what they're worth or what somebody's willing to pay. So
if they pay that, that's on them.
I think also, like, I actually really struggled with that because a large part of the reason that I resell is because I have a background in conservation. And so I was actually passionate about the sustainability of reselling. So I was struggling with the fact that I was like making money off of the fact that I was trying to do something good for the planet. And then my friend that actually got me into reselling, she was like, well, is the person that you're selling, like in your example, is the person that bought it going to be looking through bins day after day looking for those? Probably not. Like, these are people that probably don't want to be thrifting or They just want the end product.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, that kind of changed my perspective a little bit, is in like, we spend a lot of time searching through garbage, basically, like
absolutely.
30 bins getting space, like all these things. And like, so it kind of changed it, and it made me feel like a little bit less bad about,
And especially because you think about it, like the way I think about it is like when it's like that, is that they're basically, if they're paying extra, it's for a styling service or a me going out and being accessible to them service, because they don't want to do it,
Oh. And it's still circular fashion. It's still getting recycled. So you are helping the environment. And I don't think there's anything wrong with also making a profit while also conserving.
Yeah, making it, you think about it and you're like, sometimes if you price low, then you're like not even making hourly minimum wage. So you really do have to be smart about it. And sometimes if you price higher, you have to.
Yeah.
Somebody said something to me recently that was kind of a moment. They said, everybody is in the resale business. You're just either buying your stuff. Like if you buy from a wholesaler, unless you're the manufacturer and you're like making the clothing, everybody is in the resale business. Like, so Walmart is buying their stuff from someplace in China and they're reselling it. Yeah. So, is that better? Is it better that we buy things from Bangladesh in sweatshops from H&M because it's less expensive? I mean, does that make me more respectable if I'm a patron to that business as opposed to reselling something, that's already been sold that somebody else can use? I mean, there's just a lot of misinformation about what we do. And I get the thrift store employees who see us come in and they probably roll their eyes, but we're also helping their business, so it's tough. I was having a conversation with somebody we interviewed for our podcast, and they do all online arbitrage, and they have the lead lists and their Amazon, and if there's a toy that's hot, they go and buy 50 of the toys. And I struggle with that a little bit as a mom. And after having worked at American Girl, when we had certain pieces that were like so hot and we knew the resellers were coming in, and I struggle a little bit with the toys because they're for kids and we're taking them away from, maybe families who want to buy their kid an Xbox and they can't get a hold of them. And so they have to buy them from a reseller. That's a little different. I mean, in my own eyes, but somebody else can completely justify that. But, I don't know. It's all in how you look at it. But to get back to your answer, Matt, I absolutely think you can be successful without sharing your cost of goods. I think it's a personal choice. And I don't see anything wrong with it. In fact, a lot of the very successful resellers don't share their cost of goods.
And I think sometimes I wonder, because a lot of people in their head say the only reason they watch What Sold videos, you don't share your cost of goods. Personally, in my opinion, I don't think that's the only thing you can get out of it. Regardless of how much someone pays for it, that's selling. So if
exactly.
you see it and you're comfortable paying for it, then it's a win,
I agree. I still think there's a lot of value. Or people are like, well, if you don't tell me what your fees were and your cost of goods and what your bottom line was and your profit, then I'm like, I'm just not that person. I'll always say, I paid $5 for this, but then, I think I gave discounted shipping. I might be wrong. So I profited about this. For the sake of my videos. I mean, my husband's an accountant. We figure all that out at the end of the year. But when I'm sharing information with my viewers, to get back to the whole, like where we were talking about retail arbitrage, and I just think that as long as you're being honest with your audience, and that being honest doesn't mean you have to share everything. But I think that people are like, I did $12,000 in sales this month, and they do a thrift with me video at Goodwill, but you go to their, but really all they're selling is like wholesale liquidation. Like that's like the bulk. Everything's a stock photo and everything's new with tags.
I'm just saying, Lori, that I feel like I know what people you're talking about, but of course we're not going to talk about that. Just saying. Anyways, continue. I
struggle with that because I feel like it's more of an honesty thing. And it's not a business that the business model is hugely successful. Like somebody I really respect who doesn't share cost of goods, to get back to, is Jenna on Empty Hanger. And she just kind of like, it was just never a thing. She's like, I just don't share cost of goods. It's just never been my business model. Like, Everlane is not, well, actually Everlane is kind of sharing their cost of goods. Bad example.
But does then she go to the bins and do a bins video? Because then clearly her cost of goods is like, that's what
clearly. She actually isn't a huge bins shopper, but she has the same philosophy as you, Matt. Like what sold video is still going to be helpful to share with you, but 99.9% of the stuff that she sells is from thrift stores. So to me, that's still like, okay, these are things that I can actually find in a thrift store. Granted, like she's in Atlanta, so she finds a ton of Show Me Your Moo. I never find Show Me Your Moo in the Northeast. And there are just certain brands that she will come across. Like I find Vineyard Vines, like it's coming out of my eyeballs because we have Martha's Vineyard.
And I've never found it.
Well, it doesn't move very fast for me, and I'm a New England girl, and I should be like rah Vineyard Vines. But like all my kids went through a Vineyard Vines phase, and we had like Vineyard Vines outlets out here, and we have like a ton of it, and I have a hard time moving it. And I think the reason I struggle is because I paid retail for a ton of it, so I don't want to let it go really cheap. It's not like stuff I've thrifted. But anyways, I think as long as your message is honest, I think you can absolutely. I've contemplated it once in a while, like.
Yeah.
Sometimes at the start of a video, I'll just say, this is what I spent. This is how many items I got. So this was my average cost of goods. And then I leave it at that. Maybe I paid up, or I'll say I paid up for this. I can't really remember. Maybe it was 10, maybe it was 12. Like I do share my cost of goods because again, I feel like it adds to the story. But that's just my own style. I don't think has to be set in stone.
So I think that's where like me and Matt have talked about it. Whereas I feel like I'm the type of person that because I do this part-time at the beginning, I really wanted to know what was the actual profit margin that on average people were kind of making. And so I was really interested in that kind of thing. And I gravitated towards people that would share openly. But I get what you're saying is where people don't have to share, but at least if you're not going to share, just don't be misleading in the fact that it feels like what you're getting is from the thrift store when it's not, like that's fine.
And you went to the bins, like,
Yeah. But I think you can be successful both ways because I think at the end of it, people are going to listen to you because more so your personality versus whether or not you're saying cost of goods or not, So I follow both.
It's like a huge question. Yeah. So much info on this. It's so interesting.
This is an interesting question. And I think we all, as anybody who's on social media, like, do you share this stuff, and my mom, I remember just being completely horrified. Like, how do you even get in front of
my mom tells me when I say something about my cost of goods, she's like, don't share your cost of goods.
My mom is the same way, but my mom is all about like, oh my goodness, like how can you pay $2 and then list it for that? And aren't people going to get mad? Aren't people going, I'm like, well, they're not going to get mad, Mom. They're either going to buy it or they're not, or they're going to send me an offer. I mean, I am very open that I price things a little bit high and then I give out offers like candy. It's just what I do. Some people, they price competitively and then they don't send offers and they just kind of set it and forget it. I don't think there's any one model. And I do think, in defense of people who don't share cost of goods or don't share every aspect of their business model, I do think once you reach a certain point on YouTube or whatever, there's kind of this expectation that you need to share everything. And it's really just whatever you're comfortable with. So I do believe in not being misleading 100%, but sometimes it's tricky when people want so much information from you. And there are things about your business and life that you just really want to keep to yourself. But I tend to be an open book, so I'm not that good at that. But I've given some thought to it.
Okay, yeah. Also, I'm just gonna add this in really quick in between the questions that Poshmark created a pet category, and so crazy. And the funny thing is, I just thought I would give my mom a little shout out. She has a pet clothing company, and she added a Poshmark closet a week before they did the pet category, and her name is the Posh Pets on Poshmark. So everybody go follow it. And Poshmark did the hashtag Posh Pets, and I was like, yeah.
Well, is it all gonna filter back to your mom now?
I don't know. I messaged Poshmark and I said, hey, this is this company. You should definitely add them to your campaign. They were the first pet people. So, but I thought I would say that because a lot of people don't like that pet was added, and then some people do,
I'm kind of indifferent. I think it's whatever. I don't know. I'm indifferent. I think people who are probably upset can just think of other things that they would find more valuable.
because Poshmark is an app where you go to shop for human clothing. You know, like it's like
Well,
they
then
think it's take away the business, but it really
well,
won't.
yeah, I mean, then just don't search pet stuff. Like it's a whole category. Like it's like home stuff, right? They have home stuff, and people like I never look at home stuff on there. You don't have to look at it. Like it's fine, but it's cool. I mean, I actually did search some stuff for Henry, but I mean, it's just the shipping. That's the thing. Like I can find it cheaper elsewhere because of shipping and stuff, because it's just a toy.
Right.
So, or for like clothes and toys, I guess. But I mean, it's cool. It's like you have more options to sell, I guess, if you have extra stuff at your home that you want to get rid of.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you probably could have sold it before and just put it under a different category. It would have been hard, like in an SEO.
That's what she did. But the people that needed to be seeing it weren't seeing it, you know?
So that's nice. Well, good for her. That's really exciting. So does she do like coats and collars, or what does she specialize in?
Actually, her business name is actually Heads or Tails Pup. She's had it for like maybe 5 years. She sells at farmers market, literally makes custom overalls, denim, jackets, like for dogs. I have but then she just added Posh Pets on Poshmark. So her name on Poshmark is Posh Pets, but the actual brand is Heads or Tails. Gotcha. And it's like she shows them everything. The tags on the inside say Heads or Tails, like really cool. So go check it out, everyone. If you'd like to keep your dog warm.
Lulu Marie would love something. So is your mom a seamstress as well?
You what?
Is your mom a seamstress?
No, she's always been able to sew though, just because she went to FITM when she was like my age, and she was always into fashion. So yeah, I mean, it's super cool. She just loves dogs, so she turned it into a thing.
I love that. That's so much fun. That's so much fun.
And she does this cool thing where she'll like say to people like, you can send in your favorite old t-shirt and I'll turn it into a dog t-shirt if you tell me their size. So she's been doing that. It's really cool.
So smart.
Yeah, so basically that's the whole deal with that, and just thought I would say it. But yeah, so we actually just reached an hour. Maybe we should get in one more question. I know we have 3 left, but we should choose the best one maybe.
Okay.
So Anylu, what do you think about the last one that you came up with? I think that would be the go-to.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Lori was like, hold on, let me switch up my notes.
You're so cute. You're like, I'm prepared. That's why I was like, I wanted to make sure I sent him to you first, because what if she was like, never, I'm not answering that.
So Matt, real quick.
There were a few that I struggled with. I don't have answers for the last 3. That's why I looked, because I was like writing things down just to like jog my memory, but I don't have answers for the last one. So that's what I'm nervous.
So I actually was going to ask Lori, because Lori, really, it's, you know, we didn't want to keep you over an hour because I'm sure you're very busy, but so, like, do you want to answer the rest of the questions, or should we just do one and call it?
I'm fine. I have some time. Why don't we say like 9:15?
Okay.
How's that? I'm not in a rush. I love chatting with you guys.
I know. I was so happy to get you on here, because ever since I started like full-time reselling, I've watched, you're like the main channel I watch. So I was like, oh my gosh.
That's crazy to me. Thank you.
So
yeah, but isn't it cool too, like having a YouTube channel and having people like be like, oh my God, I love your stuff and like what you work on and the videos you edit. I think that's such a cool feeling, you know?
It's really cool, and completely blindsided me. Like I just never saw anything like this coming, you know, even when I got on YouTube, it was never like my intention. Like I'm a visual person like you, and I just thought, you know, this would just be kind of fun to share a haul. Like that's where it started, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt, you want to change the question?
Yeah. So this is, what is the one brand you'd want to find in the wild and haven't found yet? But I'm sure you found everything. So
I have not even a little. There were certain brands, like these aren't even like huge brands, but I remember for a long time I was looking for Reformation for a very long time. And the one dress that I found, I paid up for, and it's still sitting in my closet. Show Me Your Moo was another one that I just like had heard so much about. Can't move it to save my life. Like it's funny the things that I'm like super excited to find, and then they just sit, you know. Well, like you guys with Rothy's and stuff, it's not like it's the end all be all, but it's kind of exciting to find something like that. I guess I would have to stick with like luxury, like you said, Chanel. Like if the three of us were at the bins and somebody found Chanel, it would be a big fight. But I'm actually not a really Chanel type of girl. Like I'm not that conservative. I think I favor like Louis. Gucci can be like a little much sometimes, but I would love to find like a luxury. I haven't found any of those in the wild. I don't think. Not that we're authentic.
Right.
I have found Gucci shoes. I have found Gucci shoes, but they were like old. Like they were like old 90s loafers. Like nothing that I was like really pumped about.
Yeah. Do you know what I think is in between Gucci and Louis? Fendi. And I feel like when you talk luxury, people mainly
Fendi
say
gets overlooked a lot.
You what?
I think Fendi gets overlooked a lot.
I love Fendi. I don't know what it is. Maybe because it's like too much, but also conservative for too much.
I gotcha. Yeah. Fendi has a following. In like Prada kind of comes in and out, I feel.
Yeah. Like vintage Prada isn't worth the most anymore, I feel like.
Is what?
I feel like vintage Prada especially, like you'll be lucky if you get $60 for old shoes, opposed to like 200.
I'm kind of fascinated with Yves Saint Laurent right now. Like I love one of their bags. I feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck with them as opposed to like some of the other names. Like where you can spend like 13 or 1400 on one of their bags, and then like a Louis bag is like 25, and I don't see like a huge difference in the quality.
Definitely.
But if I were out in the wild, I would not, discriminate against any of these brands we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't fathom like spending so much on something that I feel like if I found it, I would just automatically like, this is fake. Like there's no way that I just found this. And that's what kind of deters me from wanting to find higher brands. Like, of course I want to find luxury brands, but I'm just scared I'm going to like not realize, I guess, that it's fake or whatever. It's too much thinking there. I'm like, oh.
I bought a fake bag by accident. I got a fake Karl Lagerfeld bag and Kate Spade, and then I just don't know what to do with it now.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I don't know because I can't sell it. I feel like that's like.
I feel like Spade used to be faked all the time, but I don't even see like what like back in the day when my friends would go to New York City and they'd go get like the fake bags and come back like you Kate Spade bags off the truck.
Yeah, I was actually in New York and I got a fake Louis on purpose, and then I realized it had like Chinese letters engraved on the front, and I was like, "It's fake." I mean, it's obviously fake, but I was like.
I bought a fake Louis Vuitton Speedy bag on Craigslist. Like I was like a young mom and I desperately wanted like a bag, and I was just like home with my kids thinking about luxury bags, and I had nowhere to go. I was like home breastfeeding. Like I don't know where I thought I was going, but I found this bag, this woman on Craigslist, and she wanted to meet in downtown Boston. It was like $400, which was like a great price for this and really good condition and blah, blah, blah. We went back and forth, back and forth. My husband worked downtown, so I was going to pick him up from work. She wanted to meet I feel like there were 1,000 red flags on the way to get this bag, like approximately 1,000. But I was just like so in the zone. And we got there and she was like very professional. I remember I could punch her in the face right now because she had like this like trench coat and glasses, and she was like
tricked you
She totally she said she had a receipt. I asked her if I could see the receipt. Could I have the receipt? She's like, I'm just going to show it to you, but I want to hold on to it. I'm like, oh, okay. And she showed me the receipt. She handed me the bag. Like I looked at it. I remember like smelling it, and it didn't smell like leather, but I'm like, no, this woman looks so believable. And as I was driving there, she wouldn't like pick up her phone. She had there were just so many things. And so I literally got the bag and drove directly to Louis Vuitton at the Natick Mall. And I wasn't even like 2 feet from them. And they're like, it's fake. It's like
you kind of have like this gut feeling, but you still did it anyways because you wanted it that bad.
I wanted it that bad. And I have to say it was a really good fake. You know what? I ended up so I did a haul during my Happy Holidays where I did like a holiday in December. And I did like all of my own handbags that I want to sell. And I'm just going to buy myself something nice because I just have like too many bags. And that was one of them. I'm like, I refuse to wear this bag. It's fake. It's a really good fake. And I had like 5 people message me like, I'll buy it. Like, what are you asking? And Hope, she's like, she's always making fun of herself. She's like, I'm just down here in Indiana. I'll take a fake Louis Vuitton. Like, so anyways, I sent it to her for Christmas. I like didn't sell it to anyone. I just gifted it to Hope, and I hope
How
she
much did
loves
you
it.
pay for it?
I paid $400 for it. I know, it was awful. And we didn't have money. Like, we were like single income. It was just my husband. And, you know, at the store, they were like $1,200. And so this pre-owned, and it was beautiful. And I wanted it so bad. And I never wore it. When I got it home, and I knew
was so mad.
I don't know if I told Jay about that. Like, there's certain things, like his mom used to tell me, tell Jay everything is $20. He's clueless. He won't know what it is. Just tell him $20. And so I would like go to the store, and I would do like, I would charge $20 or $40 for something. And then I'd always have like cash with me, and I would like split it. And the people would
so funny.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm married to an accountant, so I have to hide the money sometimes. Now he's like, Lori, we've been married 25 years. You don't fool me. Like, I know. But it's funny because now I don't even yearn for those things anymore. I feel like it was like when I was home and not working and didn't have much to think about, you know, I would obsess over certain things like that. But yeah, that fake Louis Vuitton really, really stung.
Man, that's horrible. Yeah, that's like, yeah, no. I would be very, very
I hate to be the one to say the next question, but weirdly, I'm never that one. Anylu is. She's always like, hey, Matt.
But these stories are great. I'm like, oh my gosh. Now you don't tell him it's $20. Now you tell him like, oh, it was only 30.
Yeah.
For sure, only 30.
It's better when he doesn't know. Okay. Do I think routine is important? If so,
I love how you just read it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I wanted you to do that. Good. Let's go.
I think that whenever I plan my day, I am more productive. So I do believe routine is important. I am not a big routine person, but I've learned to have certain aspects of my business just become like a ritual. So,
and I know you're huge on planners too, which I've been seeing. I got the Nicole State planner, and it's been helping. I know you're like the passion planner, right? You're like an ambassador for them.
Yes. I had a viewer actually send me Nicole's planner, which I thought was the sweetest thing ever. I finally went to my P.O. box and picked it up. So I'm trying to think of a way that I can like maybe like tear it apart and like incorporate it into my passion planner, like some of the listing blocks and stuff. And I'm a big planner person because I'm not naturally organized. So I feel like that kind of helps me, but sometimes it complicates things though too. But yeah, so I typically start my morning by like,
Oh, I think she froze. I thought I was frozen too, but I wasn't blinking.
Did she freeze?
Oh. I thought you were like at a time limit or something.
Oh no, you just froze for a minute.
Am I okay?
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, you're okay.
You're back now.
Did you guys get the swirls on the screen for all three of us?
No, only for you.
Oh, I saw it for all three of us.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, so I take about an hour to an hour and a half in the morning where I'm just kind of like not super productive, but I am productive. I'm like answering questions, or maybe I'll wake, like this morning I woke up and I just edited for like 4 hours on my couch. Like I didn't brush my teeth or anything. It was like just the first thing I did super early, and then I just kind of went with it. But it's that mail pickup. Is the second Kelly and Ryan show up on Channel 5 at 9 a.m., I know I have to get off the couch. Like, so I'll watch like a little bit of the news. Like that's the time I check in with Jay. This is all pandemic stuff. You know, during the school year, my day would start much earlier. Like the kids would leave at 7:15. I'd go downstairs and take pictures. That was my routine then. Now it's like answering questions, like sharing my closet, like doing all that kind of stuff that I can do. And then I start pulling my inventory like by 9 a.m. and get it all ready. I'll put somebody on in the background, like watch Courtney from Common Tags or something, and I'll pull my stuff and do my shipping until like 11. And then usually like at noontime, that's like when I'll allow myself to go sourcing or do some sort of a project-based thing that I'll get started in the middle of the day. I usually do a lot of drafts during the day, and then I won't list them until like I'm hanging out on the couch like later that night. I don't tend to make a lot of items go live during the day. Just kind of, I take the pictures, I do the measurements, I do the drafts, and then I make them go live later just as a time saver.
And you do drafts on Venue, right? You started doing that?
Just started doing that in February, Matt.
I use this perfectly, but I'm so curious to if you have a video about it, I'll go watch it. But so curious to know like the differences and like because I know they're like competitors.
Yes, and I've never used List Perfectly, and I know people love it. I just never tried the platform, and they actually sent me a message one time to do like a video, and I was like already kind of working with Vendu, and
you can't really do both. I mean,
you can't really do both. No,
Yeah.
you really can't. I'm like, I would try it, but we just kind of agreed it probably wasn't like the best fit. But Becky Park loves List Perfectly.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who really like it. I mean, the main difference that my understanding is that List Perfectly, you have to open up a lot of tabs while you're working. And it's a lot of like copying and pasting sort of stuff going on. I don't know. You would know better. And Vendu is all kind of, it's almost like a hub. That's how I describe Vendu. Like everything is there, and then you do your stuff and it kind of shoots off. But there are hiccups. Like if I do my draft in Vendu and then I want to push it out to Poshmark or eBay, like I still sometimes have to go back in and choose my category again. Like it doesn't automatically go to the category sometimes. Like there are a few things that take some extra time, but I'm in a rhythm now, which has been great.
I think too, I think for me and Matt, it just always depends what you tried first. Like I think we both tried List Perfectly first, and we both haven't tried Vendu. And I think everyone's curious about what the other platform. You're like, oh, like I kind of, could try both and see, but.
And like, I think List Perfectly is already on Shopify, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's my website is Shopify. And I said to Josh at Vendu, I'm like, when is Shopify coming? Because that would be so great for me to be able to push some of the items and just mark them cheaper on my website because there's no fees. Because now I have to do it all manual.
Which is wild. List Perfectly just did Instagram, right, Anylu?
I think they're either working on it or they're launching it. Yeah, I think.
Okay. That's gonna be interesting.
But let's jump to the last question so we can wrap it up, Matt.
Okay.
So my question was, if reselling wasn't a thing, what do you think you would be doing right now?
I think I would be drinking a lot.
I think I'd be drinking in a bar.
No, honestly, I feel like I was really headed towards like crazy empty nest. Like from the time my first son graduated, I feel like I was going to be that mom who like thought about my kids way too much and like needed to like move on with my own life. Maybe I would have gone back to teaching, but at this stage in my life, it's kind of like I've been home all these years. It would be hard to go back to punching a clock. And with teaching, I taught students with special needs, and I just felt like it was kind of emotionally draining. Most of the kids I worked with had behavioral stuff. And maybe I would do some like consulting with teaching, or maybe I would substitute teach so I could say yes or no, depending on the day. And maybe I honestly can't even imagine my life without reselling. So I'm so happy that's not on the table right now. I feel like I will do this in some capacity as long as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to get to the point too.
What about you guys? What would you be doing if you weren't reselling?
I moved out to LA when I was 13 for acting and music stuff. I was singing. I kind of like went on tour at a young age. So I probably would, I'm still doing acting, like when I get an audition and stuff, like from my agent, I'll do a tape, but I'm really not focused on it as much as my reselling content and like growing my YouTube as a reseller personality. But yeah, I'd probably be more invested in my acting career if I wasn't reselling. But I mean, I like the way things are now. I love reselling, so.
Yeah.
And I feel like with YouTube, you can kind of just channel the acting and take a lot of your skills to the camera. I think that's why you're so engaging,
I'm acting like I'm finding grails, like, And then Anylu, what would you be doing?
So for me, I only do this part-time, and I really only do it as like a hobby. And so I have a full-time job, and I don't see myself leaving my full-time job. So I think that if I hadn't discovered this, I would just be like doing my full-time job without a hobby. So
What is your full-time job?
I am in plant science.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
I manage a culture lab for fruit trees here in California and the surrounding areas. And so it's like the biology field. I have some background in conservation as well. So I definitely want to still do that. But like I have found this new thing that I'm like so excited about as like something that's not so much pressure to make money off of it, but to actually just like have a passion towards it, which I think sometimes with your full-time job, you can kind of lose that a little bit because it's so like demanding and every day. So I think that's the part that I like the best, is that I can just actually have fun with this.
Yeah, I agree. And I think because I've been blessed to be able to stay home, and Jay kind of takes care of the big bills in the house, but I feel like I've always had the opportunity to really love what I do as well. And even though, and I even struggle saying that I'm a full-time reseller, because I don't necessarily think I do the volume of other, if you compare me to some other full-time resellers who maybe not be, like I spend a lot of time on YouTube doing 2 videos a week with, recording and editing and all that stuff. And I feel like my volume has kind of just leveled off. I don't know if my business is like growing, which is why I'm trying to get on a few platforms now, but I never really did this for the money. I did it because I love it, and it's been nice that it's turned into an income for me. But it is nice to be able to do something you're passionate about. But you sound like you're passionate about your day job too.
Yeah, I mean, both things, but I think you could do multiple things, right? I'm the type of person where I get bored very easily. And so it's not like I'm going to be switching jobs all the time, but it's just nice to have like different outlets going on all the time. So I don't know. I think it can still, and as I said before, like I do feel like I'm making a difference, with the sustainability of reselling. So it still is like tied in somehow. And maybe in the future, I think I can tie both of the things in, more tightly, and maybe, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm kind of looking into options for that.
That's really exciting. And I feel like it will present itself. You know what I mean? I think sometimes you think you're going in one direction and then something pulls you somewhere else, and then things just evolve. And I can see that really coming together for you. That's really exciting. Yeah. And I don't think we ever get bored with reselling. I feel like it changes all the time. And that is something I think for those of us with a short attention span or who get bored really easily, I think it's really exciting because there's always something new. The seasons change, the styles change, the platforms change. Like it's always something new. So, I mean, it's also very repetitive, but.
I mean, there's certain, I feel like there's always, it's like one of the only things you can do in my head that you can sit at home and everything still is always changing.
It's crazy. And I am so grateful that we all had this during the pandemic. Like I would have been going out of my mind.
Yeah, definitely in the same way. Well, I'm so excited that we already reached an hour and 20. We should probably just wrap it up.
Sure.
I know everyone has busy lives. I just want to say thank you, Lori, so much for coming on here. Me and Anylu have been working on this kind of show, kind of fleshing it out and stuff. And we're so happy that you were the first guest we had on here.
I'm so honored. You guys are great. Keep doing what you're doing. So much fun. It's just great to chat with people and see where other people are at in their business. And you guys are a great team. So keep it up. Thank you for having me. I really had fun.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for joining us. I know you're super busy. And I was like, when Matt told me like, oh, Lori's going to come on, I was like, what? I was like,
oh, thanks for asking. Yeah, no, I'm not that busy. Everyone's busy.
So
definitely. Everybody subscribe to Lori's channel. Her link is in the description. Also, convince Anylu to make a YouTube channel. Just, all that good stuff.
Yes. If you want to. I always tell people, everyone's like, should I do it? Should I not do it? I'm like, if it keeps you up at night and you're thinking about doing it, just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll probably shoot over to you guys and ask some advice, because editing, I'm going to be one of those that like doesn't edit anything.
That's all right. And then you gain your audience that way. And then when you can edit, I couldn't edit to save my life for like a good 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
get used to it.
All
right. Thank you.
Bye,
guys. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Good night. Thanks.